of Influence, the only pod stream where we talk about social media, internet influence.
That's true.
The only podcast where we talk about internet outrage and really anything else we want to talk about.
That's true.
I'm your host, Ray William Johnson.
I'm the other host, Epic Lloyd, and this is the only podcast where we talk about it.
That's right.
That is a true fact.
That's true.
That is a true fact. There are other podcasts that talk about similar things, but we don't talk on those podcasts.
Correct.
So here you are with us. Thank you guys very much for joining us. We're Kings of Influence. We're here every Wednesday at noon. We're live on YouTube.
That's right.
And you guys, our little baby podcast is growing. It doesn't have balls yet. It doesn't have kneecaps yet. It doesn't have feathers or like even really skin. But it's past the point where
the egg hasn't quite hatched.
Yeah.
But we have an egg.
If you aborted us, you would feel real guilty.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That is a horrible joke. I couldn't help it. I couldn't help but say it, but I said it.
People are debating whether or not our podcast is truly a life.
Yeah.
Right now.
A decision.
Yeah.
Does it know it's a podcast?
Or is
yet?
it just an embryo?
Yeah. It doesn't.
Really?
It doesn't even know.
So we're there.
This podcast is not going to wreck an older adult podcast's life if it stays in this world.
Right. Jeez. Okay.
What a way to...
Enough with that.
Oh,
okay.
boy.
So we have a great show for you today. We're going to talk about Alex Jones finally getting banned from Twitter. We're going to talk about Elon Musk smoking weed on Joe Rogan's podcast. Internet was mad about that. Serena Williams also had a tennis moment, which could potentially be sexist. We're going to talk about that. Really got the internet riled up about that. And, of course, we have a Twitch streamer whose house was shot up. We're going to talk about that at the end.
Damn.
But first, let me give a shout-out to our sponsor. We are now officially an Amazon affiliate. So all you got to do is go to the link down below in our description. Click on that link, go to Amazon, shop, buy probably whatever you were going to buy anyway.
Yeah, get those dog fences or those, whatever you're buying, your video games,
whatever the kids are into these days with your fidgety spinners.
Yeah. Yeah, your
Pretendos
your
and your
boomerang switchblades and whatever you're going to buy.
Your gasoline. So do that. So click through the link first, and Amazon will pay us for recommending you. And it doesn't cost you anything. Just use that link down below.
Yeah, and it helps us make the podcast better. We got a mic for Zach.
That's right.
You might hear a voice of God piping in today. You won't be able to see him. We don't want to show Zach. You might
steal the show. But go ahead and say a little something.
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey, there he goes.
Voice of God. So
my God.
Now if we say some bullshit, we can get called on it, and that will be the voice of Zach with his gloriful beard. I don't think gloriful is a word.
But I love saying bullshit.
Yeah, I know. That's how I kind of got by in my teens.
Wouldn't that be horrible if that was Zach's job, just to come in every now and then and be like, "You guys are wrong."
Yeah, bullshit. Damn it, son of a bitch!
Damn it!
They never would have known. They just would have assumed.
That would have been that'd be awful.
You guys, if you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, and you have to do the double subscribe. You have to do the subscribe button is the motorcycle, and then the little sidecar subscribe is the bell. So click on that, and that'll let you know every time we upload for real. So we'll all grow together.
So in 20 years, it'll be like, okay, subscribe. Okay, now hit the bell.
Right.
Okay, now flip the switch.
Yeah. Print out this form.
Okay, right. Fill it in, mail it in. Okay, log out, log back in, unplug it. Yes, all of those things. And then you'll finally get a notification.
Yeah, and then we'll make it easy for you.
Exactly. Okay, what do we got this week? Man, it's been a hell of a week.
Hasn't it?
Lost my notes. Alex Jones finally got banned from Twitter permanently.
Oh,
finally.
I
say finally because they were holding back. Twizzler also hates Alex Jones. They're like, please don't eat our and Alex is like, I don't give a shit. I eat red vines.
Twitter's gonna make the frogs gay.
Exactly.
You know what? Fuck Alex Jones. I've said it before. I'll say it again. You know what? You can start your own social media platform, Alex Jones. It's long overdue. You know what? If he's the one who needs to get it in order for it to be a lesson for people to be like, yeah, you can say whatever you want, dickhead. You just can't say it on Twitter anymore because it's a private thing.
Right. Okay, so yes, first of all, let it be established. Fuck Alex Jones. I'm not a fan by any means. I think he's an irresponsible guy. I think he's irresponsible with his platform. I think him badgering the Sandy Hook parents was one of the worst things I could think of a human being doing in our civil society. And so, yes, fuck that guy. Everyone knows that we don't like him, or that I don't like him, and I've heard you say you don't like him too. I don't want to speak for you. Fuck that guy. Yeah. So that being said, I at least let's like try and separate the whole fuck that guy from this particular story.
Okay. Fair enough.
So that it doesn't infect. I mean, look, we're not unbiased reporters. We never claim to be. The show's about our opinion.
Yes.
But now that the audience the audience out there, you guys already know our opinion on Alex Jones.
Yeah.
You already know.
Yeah. You've made it very clear, some of you that support him. So thanks for watching.
Yes, and I'm totally okay with you being crazy and watching our show.
I support people having a different opinion than us on this podcast. That's what it's all about. Anyway.
Yes. Okay. So Twitter suspends Alex Jones and several InfoWars websites, several InfoWars affiliated accounts permanently, and they did it this week after this video surfaced.
Isn't that an oxymoron?
What?
Permanently suspend?
No. No, I don't think so.
No?
No.
Isn't that like temporarily always?
No, I don't think suspend is necessarily. I mean, you have suspension cables. And those aren't temporary.
Okay, sorry, I've derailed us.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
I've derailed us.
What were we even talking
sorry.
about?
I'm so sorry.
Fucking unplugged the thing. Anyway, wow. We're already going off the rails here. So this video surfaced, and Twitter said that it was because of this video and some of his other violations that they decided that he has been violating their terms of service and should no longer be on the site. Now, remember, Twitter was the holdout for a long time after Alex Jones and several InfoWars accounts were booted off of YouTube, Facebook, even Pinterest for some reason.
Pinterest?
For your Alex Jones
He's
themed
not a
wedding.
Tumblr, you know?
Right.
You can't go on
exactly.
DeviantArt anymore. He's gone.
MySpace came back and was like,
yeah.
Alex Jones is gone, and we're like, yeah, who cares?
Oh boy.
Anyway, okay, so let's take a look at this video really
the video
quick.
That happened.
Yeah, because this actually
look at those eyes, folks. If you want to see the eyes of a rat, no, I mean seriously, just look at the camera. Look at those eyes. Look at that slobbering to the system.
So
and the criminals at CNN, all their warmongering and death, all their fake news.
A reporter. I don't want to show the whole thing, because the whole thing's not worth watching. But that's Alex Jones harassing a reporter. The reporter's name is Oliver Darcy. And Oliver Darcy ran a small campaign to deplatform Alex Jones. He was tweeting and trying to contact the Twitter CEO, Darcy Dorsey, to get Alex Jones booted off. He's very vocal about it. And so this is Alex Jones finding him probably somewhere in D.C., which is where Alex Jones liked to harass people. Probably somewhere in D.C., Alex Jones finds him and starts sort of harassing him. He calls him, evil. He calls him a rat. He, you can hear him. He's like, oh, he's the one trying to control you, and he's trashing CNN. And he's really trolling. Now, but honestly, if you look at it,
look at those eyes, folks. If you want to see
this video alone is not enough
of a rat. No, I mean seriously, just look at the camera. Look at those eyes. Look at that slobbering to the system and the criminals at CNN, all their warmongering and death, all their fake news.
I agree with that statement. In a bubble, that video is shitty, but not worth getting booted.
That's not the whole video, but that was probably the most interesting part. The whole video goes on for a couple of minutes. It really doesn't get worse than that. Now, also in the last week, Alex Jones was busted harassing Marco Rubio.
Okay.
Now, that video was worse. That's one of those videos where you watch it and you go, yeah, this is why people hate Alex Jones. Now, I did pull a little bit from this video. Again, this video is longer than what I'm showing you, but
this is him harassing him on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
With a camera, obviously doing
ambushing him while Marco Rubio is doing another interview. So he ambushes, he intercepts a different interview. Let me show you.
That's why you didn't get elected.
Do they need to be regulated like do they need to be regulated?
Marco Rubio's a snake.
This is a
frat boy here.
All right, man.
Yeah.
Well, who are you, man? Who
Yeah,
is
sure.
this guy? I swear to God, I don't know
you
who you are,
better
man.
deplatform me. Tens of millions of views.
InfoWars.
Better than Rush Limbaugh. He knows who InfoWars is. He's playing this joke over here. That's why the deplatforming didn't work.
But here's
get him!
Don't touch me.
Get
again.
him!
I'm asking you not to touch me.
Well, sure, I just patted you nicely.
I know, but I don't want to be. I don't know
you
you,
want me to
man.
get
I don't know
arrested?
who you are.
It's not just good
You're not
enough
going to
to
get
take my
arrested,
First
man.
Amendment.
You're not going to
It's
get
not
arrested.
just
I'll
enough to
take
take my
care of it
First Amendment.
myself.
Oh, he'll beat me.
I
didn't say
Yeah,
that.
no, I am,
man.
but you're so mad. You're not going to silence
take care
me.
of
You're not going to silence
well,
America.
but there are people.
You are literally like a little gangster thug.
There are people in this country.
Rubio just threatened to physically take care of me.
There are people who
Look at
feel
that.
that they're being
At least
done.
He's
We
an
already got
equal
rid of-
opportunity prick.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
So there's a couple of things I want to point out here.
First of all, Mark Rubio, I'll take care of it myself.
Wait,
I love
not that,
shit.
not that. I'll get to that in a second. First of all, let me address the bodyguard behind him, who the little guy on his back right shoulder. Sorry,
Yeah.
our left.
Yeah.
So our left. Look how quickly he takes Alex Jones's arm down when he's like, "Don't touch it." Watch the guy.
That's why you didn't get
Do they
elected.
need to be
Yeah.
regulated
This
do they
guy
need
is
to be
on
reg-
point.
Marco Rubio, the snake.
This is
Frat boy
dumbass.
That guy's a good
All right.
bodyguard.
Yeah, right.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Who's
Yeah,
this
sure.
guy? I swear to God, I
don't
don't
know.
know who you are,
Look at his
man.
eyes.
Is he
Tens
even
of millions
Secret
of views.
Service, or is he just like
InfoWars.
I don't know.
Everybody
I don't
has
think those guys
He
get
knows who
views.
is.
Honestly, I don't know.
Playing this
When like
joke
a-
over here.
like
That's
a
why
watch
because
the
he's
arm.
not going to
Oh,
work.
Boom! Down. Down.
Here's a question.
Don't touch me.
See that.
man. I'm asking
Now-
you not to
now-
touch
now
me.
listen to Marco.
I know, but I don't want to be. I don't know
You
you,
want me to
man.
get
I don't know
arrested?
who you are.
It's not just
You're
good
not
to
gonna get
take my First
arrested,
Amendment.
man. You're
It's
not
not
gonna get
just enough
arrested.
to
I'll
take my
take care of
First
it
Amendment.
myself.
Hey,
I'll
you'll
take
beat
care of
me?
myself, but
I
listen
didn't
now.
say
You
that.
didn't know
dude.
him, but he's
I'm
so
just saying.
mad. You're not going to silence me. You're not going to silence
Well,
America.
but there are people.
You are literally like a little gangster thug.
There are people in this country who
Rubio
feel
just
that,
threatened to physically take care of me.
there are people who
Look at
feel
that.
that they're being
We already
they
got rid
are
of
That's just awful.
He said, so if you heard Alex's interpretation of what Rubio said. Now Rubio said, "I'm not going to call the police. I'll take care of it myself." And Alex's interpretation of that was Rubio. Did you hear that? Rubio just
physically
threatened me, threatened to physically take care of me.
Yeah.
Which that could be interpreted in a lot of different ways. But if you watch the full video, Alex says that over and over and over again.
Yeah.
He keeps coming back to that point. Rubio just physically threatened me. Just physically threatened me. Just physically threatened me, or whatever. I mean, I invite you to go watch the whole thing. It's crazy because Alex keeps harping on that point.
Yeah.
And to me, I watch that and I go, that is insight into exactly how Alex Jones's mind works, and that's exactly why I don't like him, and that's why I think he's dangerous.
He's doing it on purpose.
Well, it's not that. It's that Marco. Okay, so it's that one guy says a thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going to call the police. I'll take care of it myself. Alex interprets that as you're physically threatening me. Did everyone hear that? He's
Right.
physically threatening
that's
me.
kinda what
and then
he
he
did.
repeats it. He repeats it. He repeats it. He repeats it. Repeats it. So now the narrative is that Marco Rubio physically threatened to kick Alex Jones's ass.
Right.
Which is not necessarily what happened. That could have been what he meant. It could have meant. It could have been intentionally ambiguous. It could have meant something completely different. But in Alex Jones's mind and all his viewers, all they now know is that Marco Rubio is the bad guy because he threatened to physically kick Alex Jones's ass. That's the problem with Alex Jones, is that he doesn't leave it open to interpretation.
Well, I mean, that's what he was alluding to. Marco Rubio was going to say, I'll kick your ass. That's what he meant. You can easily understand that. I just like him more for that. I think that in that situation, you're like, yeah, fucking kick his ass. He's being an asshole right there. The problem for me is that he's doing it for only one reason, and that is to just cause trouble.
Yes.
He's doing it to cause trouble, and this isn't theater in the round in like Portsmouth, New Hampshire, where people want to watch drama. This is like politics. This is like that was a serious security guard there. People actually get killed and actually get hurt. You can't be doing that. That's dangerous.
No shit.
And for
there's
him,
a reason that security guard is there.
yeah. And then for him to glorify that and put that behavior on TV and on Twitter and on Facebook to make people think that that's acceptable. No, you can't do that.
And to monetize that behavior.
And to monetize
as well.
that. And to get other people to think that you can go out there and just disrespect anybody you want on camera anytime you want. Like, it's one thing to have freedom of speech, but freedom of speech is... There's broadcast now. There's cameras everywhere. So freedom of speech is now freedom of press lumped in with broadcast, and you're like, holy shit. To plant your flag inside of like, it's freedom of speech and blah, blah, blah. It's like, yeah, it is. But we wrote those laws in the 1700s. Things change. You're not going to take that away, but to say that there's nothing different now with the invention of cameras and recording and all that, to say there's nothing different between when those words were written and now is absurd. Is absurd to say that it's not harmful to things that you can say and spread into the magnitude that you can get a message out. And then add money to that. I'm sure he's making money off stuff, and I'm sure he's putting money into getting his word out there farther.
Oh, yeah.
So,
well,
fuck that guy.
To me, well, we got to separate it from fuck that guy, but seriously, fuck that guy. But to me, he's trying to. Alex is intentionally trying to martyr himself, right? Alex, he knows Twitter is his last platform, and he's still posting these questionable videos.
Yeah.
Which these videos alone, it's hard to argue that they alone violate the Twitter's terms of service. But I also know that terms of service are intentionally vague so that these platforms can kick you off for any reason that they want. But if you invent monopoly, then you get to make the rules. You get that. That's it. You get to make the rules.
It's just like the Kaepernick thing with the NFL. Yeah, the NFL can say nobody can kneel. That's not my point. My point is you're an asshole if you say that. It's not. And this is also a pattern of behavior with Alex Jones. It's not one isolated incident where someone just got upset and said this is a pattern of destructive behavior that's intentional. If this was like the difference between like murder and manslaughter, this is first degree murder. This is preempted. He's thinking these things up ahead of time. He's planning them out. He's hired. Who the fuck are his camera people, by the way? What fucking schlum needs a job that bad that he's walking around with Alex Jones? It's like when your dad goes off at the family picnic and you're just like, oh God, I can't believe I'm standing next to this. Like, it's like, how desperate do you have to be to work for this guy?
Not very. These guys are inevitably his fans. Inevitably. I mean, the guy has fans. I'm not gonna like he does that shit because it works. If it didn't work, he wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
He gets fans that way, and I know it because when we talk about Alex Jones, when I've talked about it in the podcast with you, when I've talked about it in other live streams, people get upset, and not the kind of upset you would expect. Not the kind of upset where they're like, yeah, fuck Alex Jones because he was a piece of shit to the Sandy Hook parents.
Yeah.
But they're like, fuck you, Alex Jones is a true patriot and he's the only one, and Alex Jones can do what he wants. Well, guess what? Twitter can do what they want too.
Yeah, fuck them. Yeah. It's not the federal government. This is not the president or any kind of governor or any fucking government telling him he has to be quiet. This is a private business that says we don't want you on our shit. It's just like if you were just like a bar can post like we reserve the right to refuse service to anyone we want.
Right.
Or if you're the New York Times or whatever, Fox, and someone's like, yeah, I want to buy an ad, and they're like, yeah, no thanks. We don't want you to be in our paper, thanks.
Right.
No, Twitter's the same way. It's just way more massive and vast.
Yeah.
It's, I just wish he would go in the WWE. It would be such a smooth transition, Alex. Well, he's already got the voice. He already does the interview well. He wouldn't even have to do anything. He would immediately be awesome in the WWE as like the Ted DiBiase kind of, bad guy, rich guy. He would be the perfect heel.
Just a red-faced, like fat, shirtless guy in spandex.
Yeah.
Just says conspiracy on one leg and theorist on the other.
Perfect character, man.
Yeah.
Is there an Alex Jones like stereotype in the WWE right now? There should be.
No, but there was like like the smaller circuit wrestling. There was a guy, we should look him up at some point, but there was a guy who he was like some kind of like hyper liberal or something like that.
Or like a hippie almost?
No, he was like a smarter than you kind of hyper liberal, and so he like wrestling fans, or at least that stereotype. So he would say things out loud to the crowd, and it would get them all worked up,
riled up, yeah.
Like everyone should have access to welfare, like stuff like that, and everyone would start booing him and shit. Just like these really.
I love that they boo him for that. That's like also like everybody should have a free education. Boo.
No, but he wouldn't word it like that. He would word it in ways that were clearly written by almost like he would, how do you say, like those like very conservative straw man arguments. Like I think we should have open borders and everyone should be allowed to in every country, and stuff like that. Stuff that no one ever argues for real.
Yeah.
But the other side thinks that, one side says that kind of shit.
Yeah. The extreme version.
Yeah, the really extreme version. So he would say that and the crowd would boo him. It was very entertaining. It was very good.
His name is Progressive Liberal.
That's his name? Thank you, Zach.
That was the voice of Zach.
It was a good idea to get him a mic.
That
I knew
was
it.
Zach's cherry, you guys. Zach just bust his info cherry.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Info Zach. I think that's what we call him. Info Zach.
Info Zach.
Info Zach.
So anyway, I think Alex Jones is trying to martyr himself. I would say that, we could all argue, it's a conspiracy theory, which I'm sure the Alex Jones fans will jump right on that bandwagon. The problem with that argument is Twitter actually held out. Twitter was actually the one that didn't ban him for a while, and they were on record as saying, look, we didn't ban him because he hasn't broken any of our rules.
Right. It is kind of a better story for Alex Jones if he got banned from everything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, the more that guy gets banned, the stronger he grows.
Yeah.
Because now everybody's going to go to his website where the ad rates are way higher.
Yep.
He's going to get more people donating. He's going to get press all out the fucking fat butthole, his fat, ugly butthole. And it's just going to get him more money, and I just wonder where's he going to go next. I don't know. I just think that I would be willing to put him back on Twitter and back on Facebook and YouTube if all of the parents from Sandy Hook got to beat the shit out of him one at a time. I would take that deal.
Damn.
I would let them stomp the shit out of him, and then Marco Rubio gets one.
And then Marco Rubio gets a kick. Marco Rubio gets one kick.
I've never liked Marco Rubio except for right now. I like Marco Rubio.
That's so violent. I like Marco Rubio's bodyguard. That guy was on point.
That guy was great.
No, but that guy is an illustration of how serious that stuff is. Like, don't go up to a senator and start putting your hands on them.
No.
And start getting up in their face. Like, they have security for a reason.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely. You can't, and you could see Alex Jones's handy, he thought about it.
Yeah.
He thought about what he was going to do because he went and slowly put it on there. That means he calculatively wanted something. If he had gotten tackled to the ground, how great would that have been for him?
I'll adjust some variables for you because I do think that what Alex Jones was doing was aggressive heckling.
Yes.
Like it was an intimidation thing.
Too
It
close.
was name calling. It was touching. So if I'll switch a variable out for you, imagine if that were a female senator, and he went up and put his hands on her and was getting all up in her face like that. I think it would immediately be perceived as sexist and as bullying and as of all these things, which those arguments aren't wrong. Now, when you look at Marco Rubio's response, you can say, well, that wasn't. Alex wasn't bullying Rubio. Rubio was ready to fight or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't matter. Like, you're getting up in someone's face, you're touching them, you're calling them names, you're in harassment territory for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. These videos alone don't explain why. These videos as individual videos don't explain why Twitter banned Alex Jones. Mm-hmm. But I understand why Twitter banned Alex Jones.
It was the straw that broke Twitter's back.
Yeah, and they don't want to be seen as being supportive of Alex Jones, which they were. It was kind of a bad PR thing for them for a couple of weeks.
After that, they were just waiting. Yeah, you're right. Because they're also the ones who, the president is on Twitter, and he's very unpopular in the things he says on Twitter sometimes. And Twitter also allows nudity, which a lot of other social media platforms don't. And
Sweet.
Sweet, bro.
Today. Anyway.
But I think it's so funny because now the social media platforms have a left and a right. You know what I mean? Like, Pinterest is maybe more conservative and Facebook is more conservative, and then Instagram's right down the middle and Twitter's way over the left. So, but they were just waiting. They were just waiting for something to happen that they could just pin to that and just be like, you're out.
Yeah, and as of right now, these platforms aren't necessarily public forums. They're not utilities. So these companies have a right to boot anyone off. And I would be ignorant if I thought that advertisers didn't have something to do with that. Maybe even indirectly. Meaning, Twitter is trying to court advertisers right now because they're trying to monetize, and they're looking at Alex Jones as a liability for advertisers.
Right. The sad thing is I bet you there are some advertisers. It's probably a liability to the big advertisers that really bring the lion's share of the money.
Oh, yeah.
There are probably some smaller things that would advertise against anything. They don't give a shit.
Yeah, of course. People advertise on porn sites. You can get advertisers, but you want the big guys. You want the regular guys. You want the McDonald's, the Disney, all of the big movies and stuff. Why do I keep pulling this cord out?
You're fed up, Ray.
Damn it. I'm so fed up with Alex. Folks.
Well, you guys let us know.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that?
Folks, but you're vocal on either sides.
I'm sick of
Be nice, everybody. I know.
I love the clip so much.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Serious crap.
He just
I'm sick
sounds
of it.
like Jimmy Hart. He
That's my
sounds
favorite.
He sounds just like everybody
I
else.
love
in
it
the
so
All right,
much.
What else are we talking about today?
Okay,
Jeez.
so you may or may not have heard, but Elon Musk went on Joe Rogan's podcast.
Yes.
And that brother smoked some weed.
Yes.
That brother got high.
Dude, all hail Elon. All hail Elon, dude. Elon is my shit. I love Elon Musk, dude. And I love him even more for smoking that J. That was
That's
so
why you're
fresh,
gonna
man. And then he goes, I didn't even feel any of the effects. I don't really feel anything.
He's like that's a good impression.
Oh, thank you very
but
much.
yeah, the video isn't necessarily worth watching because he doesn't say anything that'll blow your mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did want to get the one still of him holding the blunt.
Yeah.
So you know they're live because Rogan shoots his podcast live. They're live, and they're talking and whatever, and Rogan just lights up a blunt
Like he always does.
like he does, part tobacco, part weed. That's
Yeah.
kind of what Rogan does sometimes. He doesn't do it every podcast, and he just hands it over to Elon, and Elon's like.
He's like, it's illegal, right?
Yeah, it's legal. You're fucking. You give him the weirdest accent, but he does in fact have a weird
he like
accent.
slips into South African. Sometimes he's Canadian. He's all over the damn place.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, so the internet's freaking out about it. Of course, we're freaking out about it.
Yeah.
The Tesla stock, his company, Tesla stock drops 9% by the next morning. May have dropped more since then. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
But so I think like one of his executives in the company quit or something like that.
He got a text during the podcast, one of his friends being like, "What the fuck are you doing smoking weed on Joe Rogan?" Like during the actual episode.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that. I would have texted him too.
You would have?
Yes.
Why?
Because okay, here's why. And I have no problem with the guy smoking weed. It's legal. Even if it weren't legal, like, whatever. It's weed. It's not a big deal. And I really think it should be okay. But the reality of the situation is he's a CEO of a big company. He owns 22% of it, which means the rest of it is either owned or partially owned by shareholders or other investors. Which means when he goes on a podcast and smokes weed and his stock goes down, it fucks with everyone else's money. People who invested in him and his company.
Yeah.
I wish it weren't like that, but it is like that.
Yeah.
So if that were my buddy, I would call him or text him and be like, dude, what you're doing, it's cool and it's awesome to watch, but you're affecting other people's income, whether you realize it or not. Now, if I had invested in that company, I would have been mad. I'd have been really mad. I would have been like, dude, you're messing with my money. What are you doing? You're a CEO. You got to be more responsible than that. Smoke weed in your own time, in private or whatever, but like, what the fuck are you doing? I know I want to live in that society too, where this is okay, but we don't live in that society.
I would have been like, fingers up, dude. Sell out your fucking cash. Like, cash out. There is no company without me. There's no company without me. There's this brain right here. This is all y'all's money. So unless you're going to go invent a trip to Mars, eat a dick.
But that's not the way stocks work.
Yeah, it's the way Elon Musk works.
That's fair.
Literally, that stock is Elon Musk.
But exactly, and that's why.
That's like when Steve Jobs left Apple and it just plummeted, and then he came back and it went back up again. It's like you're not investing in that technology; you're investing in Elon Musk, and like that's the guy's freedom of whatever. He's gonna do what he's gonna do. If you don't like it, that's the company you bought into. There's nothing about that guy that's different yesterday or the other day than it was earlier. He's always been the same guy, you know. Maybe he does kind of look like he's being driven by aliens from the inside. He's
the same android, sure, but
he's a weird dude.
But no one would have expected. Like, yes, he's the same guy. No one would have expected that he would do things that caused the stock to drop, like smoke weed on camera.
Well,
like if you're even if I invested in Facebook and Zuckerberg starts fucking around and the stock goes down, you get upset, especially like the more money you lose over that stuff.
Yeah, but that's the thing about stock. You didn't lose money; it just went down. The odds of it going back up are very high.
You could have lost money.
Only if you sold. Only if you immediately needed to sell the next day. That's how you lose money. But if you own the stock, then the value of it goes down. And maybe, I don't know, maybe you've got some deal where you're using the value of the stock as a collateral for some other business deal or some kind of loan or something. But unless you were going to sell the next day, then you didn't lose money. I guess
You could lose it over the long term. You're
Yeah.
telling me that if you were an investor in that you wouldn't see that if your money went down by 9% in a day, you wouldn't like gasp. You wouldn't be like, oh shit.
Well, first of all, you should be more diversified, so you shouldn't be looking at anyone's stock at all, Ray, if you want to know about money. You should be way more diversified so that you should have stock everywhere. If all your money's in Tesla and it went down, that's your fault for having all your eggs in one basket. Secondly, don't watch it every day. If you watch the stock market every day, it's like watching YouTube subscribers every day. It'll drive you crazy. It'll drive you nuts. So, like, I bet you that if you look it up, I bet you the stock is back up 2 points today.
It might be.
You know, it's just like,
Hey, we have a guy who
I
can
know.
look that up.
Hey,
can you look up the Tesla stock and
Info-Zach.
see if it's back up?
Info-Zach. I think people react. They go, whoa, this guy's super unstable. What kind of idiot smokes pot on the Joe Rogan podcast and then admits he's super stressed out and almost breaks down in tears or like admits, but like, was it the pot or was it the other shit? Because that's the thing about me. It's like, he's smoking pot. Okay. But are you listening to what he's saying? He's saying there's a large chance we are all living in a simulation right now.
Well, he's not wrong.
I know,
yeah,
but like that is like that
that
type of stuff I think is, I mean, and I love him for it, but like if I'm a nervous money dude,
Yeah.
that would be more alarming than the weed.
Well, but that's where your "hey, I'm the same guy I've always been" argument actually does hold weight. He doesn't smoke weed on podcasts every single day, but I'll be damned if Elon Musk doesn't say some weird shit like once, twice a day where you go, I don't know, this guy's a space cadet.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I don't say this as an insult, but I've been watching Atypical lately on Netflix. I swear to God, Elon Musk is on the spectrum. I swear to God.
I don't necessarily think you're that wrong. He's definitely overworked. He's been crumbling a little on Twitter. I don't know if you follow him.
I've read that like he's breaking down a little bit.
But he's not wrong. It's like he is the stock. That's what I keep going back to. Like he got dinged for saying we're going to take Tesla private.
Yeah.
And then all the stockholders got real pissed off because, you know, money isn't his main focus. He's literally a guy in a billion-dollar industry he's actually not worried about the money. He is worried about the human race and the planet. And he's a person that you look at him, or at least me, I watch him, I go, yeah, I actually believe that. Some people want to say that. You know, some people like play that role, like I'm really out for the good, but actually they're behind the scenes looking for money. Elon Musk isn't. He actually is concerned about the planet, and he knows that he has the ability to make it better. So when he gets held back by red tape and all this money and business shit, it drives him nuts. And I think he has a conflict in his brain with that stuff. So for me, I'm just like, let him do what he's going to do and just trust that he knows more than you, because I think he does.
He does, because the stock is up 3%.
Hey! I'll be starting a financial advisory business if anybody
Hey.
wants to join my club.
Hey,
Yeah, dude, I would have bought. If it dropped 9%, to me that just says now's the time to buy.
That I agree with.
You know?
That I totally agree with.
Now's the time to buy.
A stock suddenly drops, definitely buy it, especially over something like weed.
Yeah.
But I think when you're a CEO, you got to think about these things. You got to think like, and maybe he is. Maybe he's thinking long term.
I'm sure he
I
thinks
always
about it.
assume that he's way too busy with his other full-time job, which is pretending to be a human. That he can't really make these judgment calls on things like maybe I shouldn't smoke weed on camera because it'll fuck with the stock.
Yeah.
But it's back up 3%. So
Did I tell you I met Elon Musk?
No.
Did I tell you this story?
No.
So I performed in Epic Rap Battles of History in Elon Musk's house. Yeah, so Pete and I did Tesla versus Edison. So we did that battle, and Elon Musk, for some reason, was having this extravagant party in his house. It was something about, I don't know, some sort of fundraiser or something. So it's like above Beverly Hills, and then above that is like where his house is. Like we roll into this. We're like, what is it? This is just a mountain. And then we're like, oh no, this is a fucking castle. So we roll into his house. It's like a party, but there's a show going on in the party. So we get in there and it's all this food and all these people and all these sort of terrible corporate people. And then they're like, oh, let's go get a drink. So we go into the bar. There's a woman hanging upside down from a chandelier, pouring champagne upside down. So she's like a circus person. It was like nuts. So then we we go into this back room, we dress up as rap battles or whatever we're gonna do, and then we do this epic rap battle of history as Tesla and Edison in front of these people. They didn't really pay attention to it. I think even at one time I go like, "Hey, we're doing something," and then everybody kind of like gathered in. But then I met Elon, like we got introduced to him, and he was just like, he was like very, like what you said, he looked like he might be on the spectrum or something like that. And I met his son, and his son was pretty cool. But it was just the most surreal experience to be in Elon Musk's house. And he's big too. He's tall. He's like 6'2" or 6'3" or something, which is not what I think of when I think of a genius. I always think of like little nerdy, dudes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was kind of a crazy night.
Well, he's an android, so he got to pick his body.
Definitely an android. I'm all about it. I love that there's memes everywhere of him smoking that blunt and stuff. And how Rogan has got. I wonder how Rogan felt.
Oh, so Rogan gained over 300,000 subscribers on his YouTube channel.
Dude, he's off.
Also, he's been in all the major news outlets. The story has been everywhere.
Yeah.
I would say, not that Rogan isn't like massive and his podcast isn't massive and deservedly so. But I would say that marked the moment when Joe Rogan and Joe Rogan's podcast went mainstream.
Yeah.
Whatever the hell that means.
Yeah.
Because mainstream news media were talking about it.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything blow up for him. Can you imagine what his mind was doing as he's watching Elon? You know that Rogan knows that was a thing when it was happening.
It was huge.
He had to have known. And maybe Elon Musk is like Kanye in a way. Maybe he like knows any press is good press, and he's just like, fuck it, it's better. The more people know about Elon Musk, the more people have the ability to invest in his company, right? Maybe he needs money. Maybe he tweets because he's a genius, right? It's not, I mean, to understand like astrophysics and like engineering in the way he does, it doesn't surprise me that he probably understands how to succeed on Twitter. Like, listen, he knows how to get to Mars. Total social media idiot. Would never be able to grasp those skills.
I think he struggles to do normal human shit.
Yeah.
I think he spends most of his time pretending to be a normal person. But in real life, yeah, he's out there. He's an android.
Yeah.
He's short-circuited a little bit.
He is running. He's being driven by aliens.
You have to be. Have you ever seen Zuckerberg? Zuckerberg's a weirdo too.
Zuckerberg is like, he looks like a psychopath.
Oh yeah.
He looks like an emotionalist psychopath.
He's got bodies in his fridge.
Yeah. They're all tagged like top 8.
Oh yeah. Top 8. That's the wrong one. You're thinking of Tom from MySpace. No,
Tom from MySpace is in that fridge. Dude.
Zuckerberg's a weird guy too.
Yeah.
Zuckerberg's a weird guy too, for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, that was very informative.
If you haven't subscribed to the channel,
there you
subscribe to the channel.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, and if you're shopping if you want to support the podcast and you love us and all that stuff, and you're shopping on Amazon, go down to the description below and click on our link and then shop. Doesn't cost you anything extra. Amazon just pays us for the referral. Just buy whatever you were probably going to buy anyway.
Yeah.
Your bath placemats.
Freezer for severed heads. Anything that you're
your
gonna
toe
do.
tags.
Yeah, toe tags.
Anything like that.
Do they call toe tags toe tags?
I think so. I would.
You just call it a toe tag. They have to have a better name for it, like digit label or something,
Like an official name?
Yeah, they wouldn't call it a toe tag, but that's what, like, hey, can you run to the store and get some more toe tags?
And what store would that be?
Yeah, exactly. Like Cadaver
Depot?
Cadaver Depot.
Like Bone Depot or something like that?
Bone Depot.
Hey!
I like it.
We got the
You heard it here first.
That's right. Okay, let's talk about Serena Williams.
All right. I mean, if you haven't heard about this, then I don't know where you live in. What's going on?
Get the hell off our show if you haven't heard about this.
Yeah.
This has been everywhere.
So, Serena Williams, no stranger to headlines and controversy. Well, first of all, let me say this about Serena Williams. Unequivocally, hands down.
There you go. That's the way I pronounce it.
Most dominant female tennis player of all time. Potentially the greatest female athlete of all time. Potentially. That may be up for argument, but in terms of tennis, unequivocally.
Yes.
So at the U.S. Open, she in the finals against Naomi Osaka was her opponent, who is actually much younger than Serena and like looked up to Serena like growing up.
She's 20. Osaka's 20
yeah. From Japan. So Serena just has this. She just goes She has a meltdown. She has a meltdown with this judge. The judge gave her a warning for receiving coaching from. You can't coach in tennis, which is so fucking bizarre.
Yeah, you
That
can't.
is so
you can't
bizarre.
send signals to the player, but apparently it's one of those things that a lot of players do and a lot of coaches do. Like they get away with it. It's rarely called, but sometimes it's called.
Yeah, apparently it's everybody's. So, but you can't receive coaching or give coaching from the
During
court.
the match, yeah.
Court. This Ramos is the umpire. Carlos Ramos, I think his name is.
Yeah.
He gives a warning for that.
Yep.
And okay, so and the way tennis works is you get a warning, then you get penalized a point,
A penalty point.
and then you get penalized a game, which is massive.
3 strikes, yeah. 3 strikes, you're out.
Yeah. And a game, and there's like, 3 sets, and then there's like 7 games in each set or something like that. But a game is just a massive. It'd be like getting a point in soccer. You know what I mean? If you get a point in basketball, that doesn't matter. But if you get a point in soccer.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
So she is going, so she gets this warning for the coaching, and she takes it very personally, like as if he's accusing her of cheating, is what she really took offense to this.
Yeah.
And she starts, and she's already losing. I will say that. She's a fiery, emotional player. She's kind of getting her butt kicked, and she's already been beaten by this young girl before. She got beat earlier by Naomi Osaka. Anyway, so she's getting beat. She's getting upset. Then she throws a racket on the ground, smashes a racket, which is a very clear offense.
Yeah.
You can't do that
Yeah.
in tennis. It's way more proper than that. This is fucking tennis.
Right. It's tennis.
Tennis. So then she gets a point taken away for that.
Yep. Strike 2.
And then she fucking loses it. She loses it on this guy. And I feel like this is where the controversy in this particular incident is that people are saying, if she was a man, they would never call this a meltdown. They would call it a passion. She's playing with such passion, and she would be able to get away with so much more than this. But I don't agree with that. She fucking melted down. She started going at this umpire. She's like, you stole a point from me. She's like, you need to apologize to me. You need to apologize to me. I want to hear you say it.
Yeah.
And you're like, I mean,
Yeah.
that's a meltdown on any, and they're like comparing it to like, well, if John McEnroe had done that, or if if LeBron James had done that, they would call it passionate. If LeBron James got his finger in a ref's face and was like, you owe me an apology, you stole from me, he would get ejected for that.
Yeah.
That is a fact.
Yeah.
And so that part of the controversy is, I don't agree with that. I think she had a fucking meltdown. And so she gets the racket thing, boom, and then she's going at him for this. And then what happened next is really sort of the last nail in the coffin was she won't let it go. She's like trying to recover from this, and she goes back to serving, and she's actually doing pretty well after that. But then she just keeps going at this umpire. And I think for her it was really taking into offense that he assumed she was cheating. And she's like, I have a daughter. I have taught her that. I have worked hard for everything I've ever done in my life. All of which is true. But then she's going at him. And she calls him a thief.
Yeah.
You know, and then he nails her. He hits her again with a point for, a game point for verbal abuse.
3rd strike. Yeah.
And it's like, and then she immediately, she calls the like upper ump, or I don't know, there's like another ref above
The
that.
umpire of the umpire.
Yeah, this very proper looking guy and this other woman. And she starts arguing right there on the court about how if she was a man, this never would have happened. And they get away with so much more. And she kind of immediately brought it there. Very quickly she brought it there. Now, I get that argument. I understand what she's saying. And I think that they do hold men and women athletes to a different standard at times. In a vacuum, as an isolated incident, I do not believe that was the case in this match. She was going at that dude. Mm-hmm. It was, you know what? They don't often call the coaching thing. They don't often call it. It's out of the ordinary. But it happened. You know what I mean? It happened.
Right.
And this particular umpire has a history of doing things. He's a strict umpire.
He is. Carlos Ramos does have a history of being strict with every game he calls. He's a hard ass. He is the meter maid who gives you a ticket for being 1 minute over. Like, he's that guy, which I suppose it's, those are the rules. It's in his right to do.
It happens.
Some umpires are like that. Some aren't.
It's like if you're driving 90 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour on the highway and you
Yeah.
get pulled over. Everybody's doing it, but they pull people over sometimes.
Right.
You know, and that's just, you just got it that time.
Right.
You know? So
I think it okay. So I think it's hard to call. You can look at tennis because every sport is different. So we'll just look at tennis. So if you can look at tennis and you can say tennis is sexist, the whole organization is sexist. You know, there are different rules for men than there are for women, different standards in what they should wear, whether they can change shirts on the court, whether it's illegal, you know, all that stuff. And that is incredibly valid. It is incredibly valid. All of tennis, there may be inherent sexism. Maybe that's true. I would argue that, yeah, very likely that there is. But what you can't do is you can't look at this situation and say this situation is sexist for a lot of reasons. One, that this guy Carlos Ramos didn't make the exact same call. He didn't ref a men's game.
right.
And make a different call based on the same events.
Right. He's consistent.
He is very consistent in terms of him being strict. The other reason is if it is sexist, I hate to say that arguments about sexism are irrelevant because they certainly aren't. But sexism in this case, that accusation, it's irrelevant to this game because there are two women playing against each other.
Right.
So Carlos Ramos, if he's rooting for men, it doesn't fucking make sense.
Yeah.
Because what? He's sexist because he was harsher on Serena Williams and therefore allowed the other woman to win? That doesn't make any sense.
Well, I think this is where her argument falls apart, I think, was the sexist thing. If she had said, hey, man, this happens to me all the time because I'm Serena Williams
Yeah.
and because of my history and because people don't like that I win this much, or they don't like to see a black woman winning so much, that would actually hold more weight
Yeah.
with me than the male versus woman thing. But that wasn't the case. And but Serena Williams does have a history of this type of stuff. She got disqualified for verbally attacking a line coach in 2014 at the US Open. And she went at the umpire then, both of which were women. So the umpire was a woman and the line coach judge was a woman.
Right.
So she has a history of this. She's a fiery, passionate player, which is great. But the same thing like with Alex Jones, it's a pattern of behavior. And if you get known as a person who is going to verbally badger people, you're going to have people's eyes on you way more.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like if you're let's just date myself and call myself, if you're not Karl Malone, I don't know, some very vocal NBA player, right? Like, I'm trying to think, Charles Barkley. If you're Charles Barkley and you get real lippy with people, they're going to be looking to keep you in check more than if you're like some guy who's never said anything before ever.
Right.
And all of a sudden you say something like, well, easy, buddy, relax. You know, so I think it's more a situation of that where she has so much success that, and if I was in her situation where maybe there's probably 1,000 situations that she's experienced that we don't, that led to this moment of her being like, this is the final straw. And that's valid. But in a vacuum, I think she fucked up. I think she crossed the line. I think if you're trying to be a professional, you're trying to be the best that there ever was, you have to account for the judge sometime. You know who the judge is going to be.
Yeah.
You know, ahead of time. You got to know to, you know, dot your I's and cross your T's in that situation.
Also, let's just play this like good idea, bad idea scenario. So, good idea. You're playing tennis, you have 2 strikes against you, you leave the fucking umpire alone. That's a good idea.
Right.
Bad idea. You're playing tennis, you have 2 strikes against you, you start to yell and name call the fucking umpire who gave you the first 2 strikes, knowing that the 3rd strike could end the game. Yeah. That is a terrible fucking idea.
Yeah, yeah.
That is it's the worst judgment call ever.
Yeah. And I think it goes to show how, she's won, like, she got like 18 Grand Slam titles or something like that. She's like
she's
unbelievable,
a
beast. And I think it goes to show that, like, it doesn't matter to her that much. I mean, she wants to win, but, like, obviously it wasn't more important than her unloading on this umpire, you know? And the sad thing is this Naomi Osaka, and I want to make sure I'm pronouncing her name right. Yeah, Naomi Osaka, she won. Like, it was her first title that she won, and it got completely overshadowed by this Serena situation. And Serena didn't really give a shit that much. She did put her arm around Naomi at the end and kind of like, tried to divert it. But if she really had cared, she would have made less of a deal. You know what I mean? Like, she stole that moment from this girl. And that sucks. That sucks no matter which way you cut it, because that girl probably was going to win anyway and busted her ass. You know what I mean? She busted her ass.
That was Naomi's game for sure.
Yeah. That to me was, I mean, it just reveals a little bit about the player inside of, like, I don't know. It was more important to her to make that point than to be more gracious. I don't know. It's tough to say. It's just sad. It's just sad that girl's time in the spotlight is always going to have an asterisk next to it.
Well, let's ask the stream what they think.
Yeah.
Stream, you out there?
Stream,
what do you think? You think Carlos Ramos is inherently sexist? Do you think tennis, as a sport, is sexist? Can you look at this situation and determine if it is or not?
And I'll say this too. Let us know why. And I have to say, I do think that there are different standards held for men and women. I think that's a fact. I think, like, if, like in baseball, you clear the benches, right? And everybody runs out and everybody loves it. If that happened in like a women's softball game, I think they would lose their minds. I think there would be real issue with that. And I do think there's different standards.
You mean when they get in a fight or when they win? Or what do you mean?
When they get in a fight. Like if like somebody charges the mound or something like that. I think that women are held to different standard because like it's like, oh, you're not supposed to do that because you're a woman and it's not nice or whatever. I guess the question is like, is that really what we want to have equal? Is it like we want to let women do more, or should we just be harder on the men? I think we should be just
harder on the men. We absolutely should be harder on the men when it comes to that kind of stuff. How about nobody clears a bench?
Yeah.
You're all adults. You're all professionals. I mean, there's no reason for you to be fist fighting on in the middle of this like stadium in front of all these people and kids and like, what are you doing?
Although everybody makes great TV.
I'm sure it does, but things that make great TV aren't often good for society.
Alex Jones. Yeah, it's tough, man. I
just my chair.
I wonder where her mind is at after. I mean, they are making the argument. I think is a lot that they don't. The general public or this umpire just don't want to see a woman like that succeed, and I hate to think that could be true. It might be her experience. For sure.
That was my point, though. It could be. We don't know what's going on in Carlos Ramos's head, but I don't think that from this situation you can look at it and inherently say, yeah, Carlos Ramos is a sexist because he doesn't have a history of only being that strict with women.
Yeah, and he was backed up by the tennis association. Like everybody backed his call. I think because those are the rules. Yeah. Now, not every umpire makes those calls and follows the rules, but look, not everyone can be the android that Elon Musk is. Yeah.
These umpires are human, and they sometimes, some cops let you go 5 miles over the limit, and some cops don't.
Yeah, I do think that he probably could have de-escalated the situation a little bit better. She like had a microphone on and he didn't during the actual match, so you could hear very clearly what she was saying. I couldn't really hear what he was saying, but from his body language, he looked like he was trying to calm the situation down. You know what I mean? He wasn't getting upset. He wasn't getting emotional. He wasn't getting angry. He was trying to de-escalate, but you just couldn't hear him say it.
Well, I mean, the picture that I pulled up for it,
even
in that, like, look at her.
Yeah.
And then go, like, how can you look at that picture and go, I wonder why he gave her a penalty? Like, look at that. That's crazy.
If that was a man, I feel like he should have deserved the same thing. Like, that's a very aggressive pose. And, it's not like girls aren't supposed to be aggressive. No, you're not supposed to verbally assault the judge, man. That's not what you're not supposed to do.
Get your finger in his face and demand that he apologize and all of these things.
It's tough.
If men aren't getting called for that, they should be.
They totally should.
100%.
So we've got some responses from the stream.
It's God.
It's the voice of God.
It's God.
Info Zach.
Oh, yeah.
What do we got?
Kristen Moore says, I definitely don't think Carlos Ramos is sexist. I think the way the news took it and wrote their headline stories made it to be sexist. Mm-hmm. The media is who is making it sexist.
Well, I sort of disagree with that because Serena brought it up directly and immediately on the court.
Yeah, and it's a big accusation.
Yeah.
She didn't even say I mean, yes, by implication, she said this coach is sexist, but she was saying all of tennis, like arguably the greatest female player to dominate the sport is saying that all of tennis is sexist. Yeah. That is a headline.
Yeah, that's the media is definitely latching onto that, and I think
Yes.
I think we are in a culture of people squatting up. I think there are people on each side of issues in general that are gonna just squat up immediately and not really look at things and just be like, "Yep, it was," or like, you know, or like. And I think I understand that. I can understand how women want to rally behind this, especially women of color, and be like, "Fuck this shit. This is bullshit." Yeah, you're right. Go Serena. I just think if you look at it in a vacuum, it wasn't this particular case.
Yeah. And look, I know that some guys will scream at the umpire. You know, there's a history of that, of guys screaming at the umpire and not getting penalties. But some guys scream at the umpire and get a penalty like right away.
Yeah, and if you like,
so it varies from ump to ump.
Absolutely, and to say that calling it a meltdown is sexist. If you do tennis meltdown, first up right now is Serena because of the headlines. But after that, it's just like scores and scores of men. You know what I mean? It's like that's a meltdown. It's like, you know, Jimmy Connors or John McEnroe or Andre Agassi when he lost his hair. It's like any of these people are just like losing it on these umpires. So that is the general term.
Yeah, I can show you a man having a meltdown.
Yeah.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay.
That's a meltdown.
Do you understand
That's
that?
what it is.
What else? Who else? Do we
I'm
have any
sick
more
of being
comments?
social engineered.
Zach,
Do we have any more?
anything else in the stream?
Sorry, I was enamored by Alex Jones' meltdown.
Yeah.
The outfit thing was aberrant, and his not so hot previous track record doesn't look good. That's from DBZ Maniac 1234.
Sorry, who?
DBZ.
No. Who's when you say he?
Oh,
the coach.
I
The
guess
umpire.
the umpire. Yeah,
Ramos. There was that is some bullshit. Is what women are allowed to wear versus not wear
That is,
court
I mean, by definition, sexist.
Stupid.
Because you're dividing, you're making rules for one, sex and not for the other.
I think they literally have to wear.
We just accept it. Yeah.
That's stupid. That is stupid.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. Wear some Jinkos.
Yeah, or I think somebody like briefly exposed their sports bra for some reason. You know what I mean? Like maybe she has an itch or maybe something's tight or whatever, and like they got a warning for that. You're like,
well, there's a changing rule that's different for men than women.
Really?
Like, yeah, because they get really sweaty, so they have to change their shirts quite often.
Yeah.
So the men can the men can kind of do it right there. The women have to like leave.
Ugh.
So clearly there are different rules for men and women because we as society see women's nipples differently than we see men's for whatever reason.
And I understand how little incident after little incident like that can chip away at someone over the course of their long and decorated career to be like, you know what? This is bullshit. I'm tired of this. It's like, this is not one argument. This is a generation of an argument. I get that. I totally do.
You're an ally, Lloyd.
I am, dude. I am an ally. I'm an ally, but your allies need to tell you how they honestly feel. Or else... Make it or break it!
Okay, Make It or Break It is a game that we play every week where I introduce a hypothetical romantic scenario, and in said scenario, you have to decide whether you could make this relationship with this fictional person work or break it off. So I got one for you, pretty simple. This week, Lloyd.
All right.
Make it or break it. You've been dating. It's always 2 months. You've been dating this person 2 months.
Everything's still nice, you know?
Yeah.
You haven't seen each other poop yet.
Right, exactly. And maybe it doesn't make sense, but just roll with it. So you find out 2 months into this great relationship, I guess you finally go over to her house for some reason.
I finally go over after 2 months?
Yeah, I know. I didn't think it through. She has 20 cats.
Oh, my God.
20.
No, dude, it's done. It's over.
You're breaking it off.
No, dude, there ain't no pussy worth that much pussy. Like, no way. No way. No, I can't. It's done. No way.
Why?
That's a crazy person. That's a crazy I mean, I guess I now immediately have questions. Like, does she own a cat breeding business?
No,
and these are cats.
She's just an enthusiast.
This is just crawling over No, now she's a witch. Now she needs to get... Now I have to call the Salem witch trial on her, and then it's going to end bad.
But I don't understand what the problem is.
You have 20 cats, babe. I can't call you babe anymore.
But they're wonderful. Fluffy, get off me. Not now. But they're wonderful.
There are too many cats. it smells like urine in your whole house.
I don't smell anything. I don't. That is ammonia.
Nope.
From when I clean. No.
I'm so sorry. I think you're gonna find someone. I think you really are.
Oh, I found someone.
It's not me. I gotta go.
I found someone.
I gotta go.
Mittens, lock the door.
No shit.
I would also break it off.
Yeah, dude, that's too. I mean, what's the number that's acceptable? Because I know we're both sort of cat people. I have a cat, but I'm not a cat person, and I say this a lot because I have the single best cat in the world, and
Your
I know
cat's pretty great.
My cat is the best, and I know I'm not a cat person because I used to have 2 cats, and then I sent one back to the pound because I was like, this cat fucking sucks. So I sent the shit on my bed. You can't shit on my bed and live in my house. You just can't do it.
What were you doing to the cat, Lloyd?
I didn't do anything to the cat. I rescued this cat from the cat pound. So, how many cats is acceptable? What's one too many cats?
I would say you get into my threshold is definitely in double digits. See, 9 is too much, 8's too much. I would venture to say like 7 is probably where I'd go. And I'm talking about, this is the threshold where you immediately hear that number and go, I can't make this work.
Yeah.
7 is definitely there. If they said 6, I would probably have some doubt. 5, a little less doubt. 4, I could make 4 work. 3 below that, that's fine.
Yeah, it's like a plethora. Yeah. I think I'm about at 2. I think I'm about at 2.
So with 3.
A cat broke up a relationship of mine. In college, a cat single-handedly was one of the reasons, not the only reason, but one of the reasons it was like, I can't take this shit. This cat would like meow at the door all night. And like, if you're trying to get it on or whatever, this cat is just a shitty cat. Not affectionate at all. Just wants to be in the room. So once you let it in, it doesn't even cuddle with you. Just sits there like, yeah, it's my fucking house.
Like all the worst parts of a cat?
Ugh, awful.
So you're trying to get it on and this cat's just chilling like, meow, meow.
Yeah. Awful. Awful.
What was the cat's name?
Zenti.
Oh, fuck that cat.
What kind of cat is that?
I was with you until I was with on the cat's side until his name was Zenti, and then I'm like, well, now you're just an asshole.
Yeah.
That's such a douchey cat name.
Yeah.
Zenti, get out of here. Okay, I would also break it off. So I have one more story. This one isn't really like about the internet being outraged or anything. It's just interesting. And I wanted to talk about it, so that's what we're fitting to do.
Fair enough.
So there's a Twitch streamer. He is big in all the ways of Twitch. I'm not sure how numbers.
Twitch fingers.
Exactly. There's a Twitch streamer. He's big. Yes, he's big on Twitch. I'm not sure how those numbers. Like someone could be like, yeah, he has 1 million something or other on Twitch, and
Right.
I'd be like, that sounds like a lot, or that could be nothing.
Right.
All I know is he's big. So his name is Dr. Disrespect. Because when you're a streamer...
Another wrestler.
Yeah, when you're a streamer, you've got to have some kind of asshole name,
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he's doing a live stream, and someone shoots at his house, and it was the second day in a row someone shot at his house.
Wow.
And actually, we have the footage, and it's cool because we can talk about
he was
it.
live streaming at the time.
Because he was
Holy
live
shit.
streaming.
Wow.
All right, let's look at it.
Man, just
There
not
is a
finishing.
character. He stops. He leaves. Now, he stays gone for I'm just going to let it play. He stays gone for almost a minute.
Everybody has those chairs.
Yeah, like the gamer chairs. But they just hand those out
Yeah.
on Twitch or something.
Is that like?
I want to see someone.
Special? Do they massage your butt or something?
I don't know. I want to see someone gaming in a lawn chair.
Yeah, right. just on a
Stool.
seesaw.
Yeah, definitely.
What game is he playing right now?
I don't know. But like his character's staring at me.
Yeah,
staring
obviously.
daggers.
Why does this character look so much different than him? Why would you bother having a long mullet and a fucking creeper dude mustache and then not make
That's
your
his
avatar look like that?
Oh, you got to. You got to
Yeah.
have a Dr. Disrespect avatar. Here it goes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta fucking end the I've got to end the broadcast right now. Someone shot at our house, broke the fucking upstairs window. This is the second shot. Someone shot yesterday at our fucking house. And someone shot again right now and connected with the house upstairs. Right? You're driving by. Right? You pussy!
Yeah, so then he cuts the stream off and doesn't stream. So
Please let it not be fake.
no,
I mean, not because he was
no.
in danger, because that would be awful.
No, it's not fake. There was a police report The local, the local news picked up the story. Kind of like, or break it! Okay. My bad. Soundboard's fucking up. Anyway, so yeah, now there's no controversy here. I mean, I suppose in some places it's controversial to shoot a gun at a house.
Yeah.
No, what I mean is there's nothing to argue here. Clearly, shooting at a house is bad.
Yeah.
If I were a betting man, I would say the guy was targeted.
Yeah, 2 days in a row.
But like personally targeted, as in they know what he does for a living, and they're now after the police came out and investigated, they determined something that changes the story a lot, which is that it was just a BB gun.
Both nights?
Both times. It was a BB gun, which I guess Dr. Disrespect thought it was a gun because I think it just busted out the window.
Yeah, I mean, I think you would probably look at the glass and then probably they found a BB in the house.
Yeah.
They probably found something.
Yeah, well,
still is kind of, I mean.
No, it's still fucked up.
Still fucked up.
It's still fucked up. Like, if that were my house, I would be, I mean, I understand why Dr. Disrespect is upset. Guy Beam is his name.
Guy Beam. Where's he, this sounds awful. Where does he live?
Well, he lives in California.
He's in
I didn't get
California.
the city, but the San Diego Tribune picked up the story, so I assume it's in that area.
I mean, it's scary. The fact that, I mean, here's what I'm putting together in my head is somebody knows him online. Somebody knows his online persona. Somebody dislikes his online persona. Somebody found out where he is, and somebody wanted to scare the shit out of him, or somebody wanted to do him harm. And based on your performance in a fucking video game,
Yeah.
someone's going to shoot up your house.
Yeah. Even if it is a BB gun.
Yeah. You can put your eye out.
You can shoot your eye out,
You
kid.
can shoot your eye out. That's, I mean, I'll tell you what, if that kid gets found when they bring him to court, I wonder if maybe deadly weapon. I don't know if a BB gun is considered a deadly weapon. So like a attempted, assault with a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
But I bet you they wouldn't act kindly to it. They probably wouldn't differentiate too much if you shot a 22 or something else.
Well, there's not a lot of arguments you can make shooting at something 2 different days in a row that it's going to get you out of trouble. You can't be like, I was cleaning it and it went off 2 days in a row.
This is targeted.
Yeah.
This is him trying to.
It's first degree.
First degree.
It's first degree.
Jesus.
If you will. There, well, it brings up a larger topic, which is like, the safety issues when it comes to being, a celebrity or an online influencer or whatever, because you don't have the Marco Rubio bodyguard there whipping people's hands away from you. And I'm sure you've dealt with stuff, and I've definitely dealt with stuff. I've never had anyone be negative, but I've had people be aggressive in positive ways.
Yeah. I've had people get up in my face and like not being able to take a hint of like, okay, enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I get that a lot too.
I just want look, what's the guy's name again? Dr. what?
Disrespect.
That's where I start to be like, well,
you think he's asking for it?
No, but like, is he disrespecting people online? Is he just
probably
telling
people
they're awful? Just like if you told me someone shot a BB gun at Alex Jones, I wouldn't mind that much.
Oh Lord, I don't want people shooting BB guns at Alex Jones. For the record,
I just don't. When you put negativity out into the world, it comes back at you. If it's like disrespect, like I disrespected you in the video game, I'm so good that I disrespected you in the video game. That's one thing, whatever. But if he's constantly making people feel shitty verbally over and over and over and over and over and over again, I don't condone it, but it makes me understand it more.
I mean, he's a gamer. I can only imagine. He's a successful gamer. I can only imagine that he does some version of that.
Yeah.
Of course. Well, how are you going to call yourself Dr. Disrespect if you're not out there disrespecting people? That would definitely create a motive. I don't support it either. Also, I understand that, what you see online with these streamers and these influencer stuff, it's often, more often than not, some kind of illusion. Like you meet Guy Beam, Dr. Disrespect in real life, and he's like the nicest guy ever.
Right.
One of those things. That shit happens all the time.
Yeah.
But of course, you and I are in the industry, so we know that, and we can have that perspective. I don't know.
I just think if you put negative energy out into the world constantly, there's going to be some negative that comes back at you because of it. If you're constantly making people feel, if his name was Dr. Respect, I don't think.
Dr. Affirmation?
Yeah, Dr. Feelgood. You know, I don't think that, like, I don't, and this sounds like victim blaming. I'm not victim.
A little bit.
I'm victim explaining.
Oh, okay.
I'm not it's not his fault. I'm just saying it makes me understand it more. You know, like, if someone's calling you, and, you know, what if he's like one of those guys who's super verbally abusive, like using real terrible language, you know, and it's like payback or something. It's just sad to me that a video game holds that much importance to people.
Yeah, to shoot out a fucking window?
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. I mean, again, even if it is a BB gun, like that's awful. I think the guy, I didn't read if he had any kids or anything, but I think he's like married, you know, he's got a family, that kind of stuff.
That sucks.
And
that sucks.
Yeah, like get out of there, man.
And he also, I mean, Dr. Disrespect, this is me completely theorizing. He might be, he might have nothing to, he might be very nice online or whatever. You know what I mean? Disrespect would be like Dr. Kick your ass or something like that. So I don't know.
I doubt it. His go-to, and I understand he was mad, but his go-to in that video was to scream pussy.
Yeah. I mean, he just got his...
No, I know.
In his mind, he got shot with a real
No, but
gun.
that, to me, if I had to lean one way or the other, I'd go, yeah, he's probably disrespectful online. Like, it's...
I love that he told the stream before he called the cops.
Well, he was live.
I
Oh,
know,
you mean
but like he didn't have a phone in his hand or
true.
nothing. He didn't like get it and pick it up. It was like the first thing. That's why I asked if it was fake, you know, because the first thing he thought to do was be like, "Hey guys, listen, there's a murder in my house. I'm gonna sign off real quick. Thanks so much."
Right.
You know
Don't
what I
forget
mean?
to rate, comment, and
exactly.
and subscribe and donate.
Yeah. So, but man. Well, I'm glad he's okay. I'm glad nobody was hurt. I'm glad we just had an earthquake. Oh, shit! Oh, actually, shout out to all the people in Virginia and the Carolinas and stuff dealing with the hurricane right now.
Word.
Man. Yeah, I got some family over there who had to evacuate, so it's serious. It's really serious.
Yeah.
So, sending love to all you guys on the East Coast. Be safe. So yeah, I'm glad he's okay. I'm glad nobody got hurt in that situation, and
yeah, it makes me wonder if there's ever going to be like a safety standard for influencers at all.
I think there has to be. I mean, there's professional gamers now. There are many universities now that offer curriculum in gaming, like a sport, and scholarships at like a sport, and are dropping other programs. And there are people who are, if you ask kids what they want to be, like their top 10 is like YouTuber, gamer, famous, things like that. So I think it's inevitable that you would do that. You know, if I was PewDiePie or Markiplier or something like that, and if I went to a VidCon or a Comic-Con or anything, you bet your ass I would have security. You bet your ass I would have security. There are people way more obsessed with gamers than there are actors and things like that,
Oh, yeah.
or at least equally for sure. So,
I mean, obsessed enough to find your house.
ugh,
Jeez.
I know.
All right.
Hear ye, the kings of influence have delivered a verdict.
Okay, every week we crown a king and we crown a court jester based on the stories that we have talked about. So this week we've got Alex Jones, we've got Elon Musk smoking weed on Joe Rogan's podcast,
Yep.
We've got Serena Williams, who loses the tennis match and accuses the all of tennis of being sexist, and then of course we have Dr. Disrespect, who I don't really feel like belongs in this game, because that wasn't a debate story. That was just kind of a like, hey, listen to this kind of story. So I would say Alex Jones, Elon Musk, or Serena Williams.
Yeah. I mean, this one is easy.
Super easy.
So easy. I'm going to give the king goes to Musk.
Yeah.
Easily goes to Musk.
Yeah.
And you know what? I want to give it to Musk, but I kind of want to give it to Marco Rubio. I kind of want to give it to Marco Rubio only because Elon Musk, while I respect and love what he did, there were some negative things that happened based off of that, like you were saying. And Marco Rubio just earned a fan, even though I hate his politics. I would never, you know what I mean? I just love how he reacted. So I'm giving it to Rubio.
You're giving it to Rubio?
I'm giving it to Rubio, and the fucking jester is Jones. Always Jones.
Okay.
I wouldn't even call him a jester. I would call him the leper.
Why don't we refer to the jester as Alex Jones every week? Who's the Alex Jones?
Who's the Alex Jones?
Yeah, that'll really make the fans happy.
Yeah.
So I give the crown to Elon Musk because, in fact, you were right. His stock did go back up.
Yep.
This guy, he got to get high on camera. He got the headlines.
Yep.
He got to look really cool, and his stock is apparently up 3% or whatever it was that Zach told us. The jester will, of course, go to Alex Jones.
Yes.
Because It's because fuck Alex. I think we have established that.
Yeah.
Every time we talk about Alex Jones, we got to be like, first of all,
Yeah.
let it be known, fuck Alex Jones.
Yeah.
And also, here's the news story.
Yeah.
Because, you know.
I don't like them putting chemicals in the water. They turn the friggin' frogs gay.
So kids.
Do you understand that? Serious crap.
Sorry.
I'm sick of being social
Like
engineer.
after they hear their kids listening to our podcast, right? God damn it! Lloyd and Ray, they turned the frogs gay. Yeah. So, well, yeah, and then the Serena Williams situation is unfortunate. I hope that she continues to have an excellent career, and I think that. I don't know. I think it does raise some interesting points about the different standards that are held between men and women, specifically in tennis.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that this young woman, Naomi's moment in the spotlight had to get overshined.
Right. If she had made that point but like not while losing a game, it may have held more weight.
Or after.
Yeah, or whatever. But like during the loss, it looked like a temper tantrum.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I have a cartoon. I didn't show it because I forgot because I'm stupid. But I have the
Knight.
Yeah, the Mark Knight cartoon that he was accused of being racist for.
Right.
Racist and potentially sexist. Because you can see that, you know, it looks kind of like a caricature. It looks like sort of the old Warner Brothers.
Yeah, it looks like blackface.
Yeah.
I definitely see
a bit.
I've seen this before. I think, you know, when you're a cartoonist, you accentuate facial features, and that's kind of the way it goes. But I even before that got brought up, when I saw that, I was like, "Eesh."
Yeah, it's gonna get him in trouble. The guy claims he's not racist. He claims the world's nuts, which I think is a great comeback. Yeah. I'm not racist. Everyone is fucking crazy. Right. I think that's funny. So there you have it. I suppose it's open to interpretation. Australian guy, I think his name's Mark Knight.
I mean, I think if he had drawn Serena's face, specifically her lips, differently, you would have a different argument on your hands. I think that the content of the cartoon is valid. You know, like that happened. It merits a cartoon. It merits. She does look like she's having a tantrum on the court.
Right.
But her face specifically, for me, I was like, yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. I see why people... Look, it's hard for me to believe that something is racist if the person doing the thing doesn't necessarily bring race into the conversation directly. That being said, I can look at this and go, I see why people were upset.
Yeah.
I see why people made comparisons to you know, the caricatures and all that. Doesn't mean it was racist, but I could see, like, if I had drawn this, I would look at it and go, maybe I should be more careful.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think so. And you look at the guy's style, and this is in line with his style. And it's in line with, but that doesn't mean that his style hasn't been a little bit, you know, I'm not saying the guy is racist. He's probably not. I'm just saying this particular drawing is potentially offensive. I think, honestly, if he had drawn her like that, winning, there may have even been like, easy, bro.
Yeah,
like,
that's
come
true.
on, man.
That's true.
So
that's true.
Yeah.
All right.
Hear ye. The kings of influence have delivered a verdict.
Let's switch scenes.
We're working it out.
We'll get there. We will get there.
You guys, thanks for tuning in. This has been an excellent episode. I've had a great time talking about these things. And like we say every week, we're here live at noon on YouTube. We used to live stream on Facebook, but we're here on YouTube. It's our home, and we love it here. So you guys tune in and subscribe and hit that little bell, and you'll get a notification when we go live or when we upload new videos.
Every Wednesday at noon.
Yes, sir. And that's the PST, Pacific
California time.
Yeah, California time. What else do we have to tell them?
Well, we tell them that to hang out after, because we're going to end the stream, but hang out, and we'll talk to everyone in chat really quick.
Yeah, we'll do a little bit of a digital meet and greet afterwards. Follow us on Instagram at the Epic Lloyd and at Ray William Johnson.
That's right.
Follow us on all the socials, and we'll continue to grow. You guys are amongst the first 2,000 subscribers, so that's awesome. If we had a badge to give you, we'd give you one.
I'd totally give them a badge.
Yeah, so
such a badge.
Rockin'.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching this week's episode of Kings of Influence on Ray William Johnson.
I'm Epic Lloyd. Have a great week.